Good morning, boys and girls. Today we're going to learn about generalizations. A generalization is defined. Generalization. A generalization is defined as a broad statement or idea that applies for everyone. You know? A broad statement or idea that applies for everyone. Let's see, if I were to say, okay, let's see, with a raise of your hands, how many of you like chocolate ice cream? Raise your hands. Okay, oh, I see that 2 of you don't like chocolate ice cream. What if I made a statement? Let's say, what if I say chocolate is everyone's favorite dessert? Is this a valid or faulty statement? Is it true or is it false? Yes, Samantha, good job. This is a faulty statement, which means it's false. So a faulty statement means it's false, correct? And then a false and is not supported by facts. False statement that is not supported by facts. Can someone explain to me why it would be a faulty statement? Good job, Eric. So since not everyone raised their hand, we can't assume, we can't generalize that everyone in this classroom loves chocolate ice cream, right? Because we had 3 hands that they don't like chocolate ice cream, so that becomes a faulty statement. So how can we fix the statement so that it fits our classroom? Like, how can we generalize the statement so that it applies for everyone? So think about it. Okay, so when we look at some clue words, when we look at faulty statements, some clue words could be always, never, everybody, everyone, no one, nobody, all, and none. So these are some various clue words that we can look to realize that that statement is a faulty generalization. So for example, I said chocolate is everyone's favorite dessert. We hear that word everyone and automatically we think, oh, that needs to be faulty. That clue word helps us because not everyone in this classroom raised their hand when I asked if their favorite ice cream was chocolate, correct? Yes. Okay, so how can we fix this? Who has an idea? How can we make everyone loves chocolate ice cream? How can we fix it? Okay, Samantha, good job. So Samantha said we can say some people like chocolate ice cream. Or we could say almost everyone loves chocolate ice cream because almost everyone raised their hand, correct? So we can say some people like chocolate ice cream and almost everyone likes chocolate ice cream. Good job. These would be examples of valid or faulty statements. Great job. So a valid generalization. That would be an example of a valid generalization. which means they are true statements based on observations, correct? And now let's look at some key clue words for those. So we can say most people love chocolate ice cream. We can say many people love chocolate ice cream. We can say some people like chocolate ice cream. Usually is another word. We can say few people, seldom, and often. So these would be clue words for a valid generalization, and these would be clue words for a faulty generalization. So once again, who can tell me, let's say, everyone in the world loves French fries. Would that be a faulty statement or a valid generalization? Great job, David. Yes, that would be a faulty because, like I said, we heard that keyword again, everyone, and not everyone in the world loves French fries, correct? And now, Samantha, give me another example of a valid generalization. Okay, good job. She used the word most. She said, most people love French fries. Great job, students. Let's take a look at these two generalizations that I am going to write on the board. So give me a minute while I jot these down. Let's see. The first generalization states that most kids like pizza. Most kids like pizza. Okay, I made this generalization based on our classroom. Whenever we have hot lunch, we can confirm it's true because most of us in our classroom choose pizza for hot lunch, correct? So that is a valid generalization because through observations and through facts, we can support this statement and say, yes, that's true. Most of us like pizza because that's what we order during hot lunch on Fridays, correct? Great job. The second generalization is that everyone in our class loves snow. Let's see. Raise your hand if you love snow. So now take a look around the classroom. Would this statement be a faulty generalization or a valid generalization? Take a look with our observations. Yes, David, correct. This is a faulty generalization based on how many of us raised our hand and those who didn't raise their hand, right? So how can we fix this generalization to make it a valid generalization? Yes, okay, great use of your clue word. We can say some of the students love snow. Great job. So now we can say that some of the students in our class love snow because not everyone raised their hand when I asked if we all love snow. Great job, students. So now we know the difference between a faulty generalization and a valid generalization, and we know how to define that vocab word, which is generalization, which means, again, a broad statement yes, a broad statement or idea that applies to everyone. So we got to make sure that when we generalize, that statement has to apply to everyone, because then it can become a valid or faulty statement. Great job. So now it's time for all of you to identify and write some generalizations. I'm passing out a worksheet. Here you go, here you go, here you go. Okay, so now I need you all to pull out your notebooks. In your notebook, I want you to create a T-chart. If you don't know how T-chart looks like, I will model it for you right now. So we draw a line down the middle and a line across towards the top. So it should look like a T. Great job. On the left side, we are going to label it valid generalization, just how I'm doing it. Please follow along on your notebook. Just like that. And on the right side, we're going to label it faulty generalization. Just like that. Correct? So now, if you look at your worksheet, there's a list with different types of generalizations. For each statement, I want you all to place it under the right label. So let's take a look. Oh, and I also want you to underline each clue word. So if you take a look at our other whiteboard, I didn't erase it. If you take a look at our other whiteboard, you can see those clue words if you forget them. And I want you all to underline those clue words that you find in each sentence before placing them here. First, I want you to underline, and then I want you to place each sentence where it goes. So, for example, the first generalization states, the class never gets in trouble for talking too much. The class never gets in trouble for talking too much. Like I said, we're going to underline so here, the class never gets in trouble for talking too much. Here you go. Now, the first thing I'm asking you to do for each sentence is underline the clue word that helps you label where it goes, right? So, categorize where it goes. So, who can help me out here, and who knows what the clue word for this statement would be? Samantha, good job. The class never. Now, is never a clue word for faulty generalization or valid generalization? Great job. It would be a faulty generalization. So as you can see, if we look at the clue words before categorizing, it makes it easier for us to categorize them in the right spot. So now we would put this sentence, so say this is number 1, we would put number 1 and we would put it in the under faulty generalization, because this is a faulty generalization. And once you're done categorizing every sentence, you're going to turn to behind your notebook page. So behind this T-chart, you're going to turn your page and write an example of a valid generalization and a faulty one. The topic for these both statements should be winter. It should be labeled on the worksheet too. It should be winter, and I want just an example of a valid and a faulty statement for those. Great job, students. So now it's time for you to all work independently and label each sentence and underline, like I've said, and then on the back, write your 2 examples. So if you need help, I will be walking around the classroom, and just raise your hand and I'll be there. Be patient, because everyone might need help, and I'll answer any questions. All right, let's get to work. And we'll come back as soon as we're done. Great job, students. Now that we have finished our independent work, let's review what we talked about. If we take a look at our whiteboard here, the vocabulary words / terms that we focused on were generalization, a valid generalization, and a faulty generalization. Let's review. Samantha, what is a generalization? Great job. So Samantha looked back at the whiteboard if she needed help or if she knew, that's great. A generalization is defined as a broad statement or idea that applies for everyone. Good job, Samantha. Okay, Eric, give me the definition of a valid generalization. If you need help, once again, the whiteboard's up there. And I will be creating an anchor chart for our later uses. Okay, good job, Eric. He said a valid generalization is a true statement based on observations, proven by facts, and supported by examples. Great job. And now, David, what is a faulty generalization? Great job. A false statement that is not supported by facts or observations. Great job, students. In addition to learning those new terms, I also modeled how to identify generalizations and whether they are valid and faulty. We had different examples, and for our independent work, I modeled how we're going to categorize between and how we can categorize them. We focused on those clue words. We fixed various examples. So every faulty generalization can be fixed to a valid generalization and vice versa, correct? Yes. So now that we've finished all that, thank you, fourth graders. Don't forget to turn in your notebook, that page, rip it out of your notebook, and turn in that worksheet with those sentences with the underlined clue words, because I will be checking those for completion at the end of the day. Have a great rest of your day, and I hope you all learned about generalizations today. Bye.